Hey, welcome back. Another Friday. It is the first of the month, first Friday of October.
Yes,
And
sir.
oh boy, Halloween coming up. The winds of change are coming through, sometimes more than what you want to think about, especially North Carolina. We can briefly touch on that. Um,
Did
but
you
this is
get?
the final turn into 2024. Did I hear about
Yes,
what, Art?
yes, it is last quarter. Did you catch the
Mm-hmm.
Mets game last night?
The who?
Mets.
No.
No, I thought you were a Detroit fan.
Well, yeah, I watched the Detroit game.
So you got to be a baseball fan, right?
Well, yeah. We're looking at who are we playing next? I forget who we're playing next. But
Uh,
yeah, what happened in the Mets?
well, the
Yeah,
Mets
what happened?
they were down 2-0 in the top of the ninth.
No way.
Yeah, what is that? Whoever wins is going to play the Phillies, and
Hmm.
Mets walked. Lindor walked. Next guy struck out. Nimmo hit a base hit, so it's first and third with one out.
No way.
Alonso comes up, cracks a 3-run home run.
That's it.
They score one more run that inning. They're
Oh
up
no, kid.
4-2. They used their closer in the eighth, so they had to bring out a starter. Right?
Oh,
Yeah,
oh.
for the ninth inning. First guy gets a base hit. Second guy, he strikes out. Third guy, game-ending double play.
Hmm.
And the Mets move on to Philly this weekend.
Were the Mets a wild card thing?
Yeah, they were lowest number 6 wild card.
That's 3 wild cards. That because Kansas City got in, they're a wild card. Detroit, and
Right.
now the Mets. Now I haven't been paying attention to anyone else, but that's 3 wild cards that got in.
Yeah.
Wow.
Houston
lost,
right?
Yeah, Detroit beat them.
Yeah. And then who beat the other team?
Oh, Kansas. Wait, no. Did Kansas City play?
No, San Diego beat Atlanta.
Sandy. Yeah.
Right?
Oh, the Padres?
Yeah, San Diego.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have
Seattle.
an interesting at least we're gonna have an interesting baseball weekend for a lot
Yeah.
of us.
It'll probably end up being who, do you think? The Yankees and someone else? Although the Yankees still have the highest payroll, right?
Dodgers might have the largest payroll.
Oh, okay. So it could be the Yankees and the Dodgers. Boy, that'll
It,
suck.
it could be, but I mean that's what TV wants. TV wants East Coast,
Yeah.
West Coast.
Yeah.
However, it might be with the way the Mets have been playing baseball,
I know.
you might
Hey,
not want to face that team.
Detroit was 10 games back, the beginning of August?
I heard that.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's absolutely. And then, so I watch Hader. I know Hader from when I was in Milwaukee. Hader's a great pitcher, excellent pitcher, right? Fastball, heavy. Well, we whacked it. That's how we won, or how Detroit won. And someone did the payroll. Detroit's whole payroll, starting 9. Hader makes more than all of them combined.
Yeah, and look who's facing the Yankees this weekend, the Royals.
Right.
Whoever would have thought that the Royals and Detroit would be in the the final
No way.
final 4.
No, I'll tell you what. We're getting a little off subject, but something going on in Detroit. I mean, the Lions. Last year, the Wings went out strong towards the end of the season. They might be good this season. Now, if we can only get the Pistons to win more than 17 games.
Well, there was a time when they won a shit.
Oh yeah. But so yeah, that's interesting time. This is the time of year, dude. That's when this kind of stuff happens. The college football getting all geared up. Things are starting to settle.
And moving into the last quarter for 2024.
Last quarter, that's kids are back in school now. I think we talked about it. I think we talked about it last week. Now's the time, really, to start setting things up if you haven't already. Because between Halloween and New Year's, it's tough to. I shouldn't say it's impossible. It's not, but that's just people are in a different mode. Now you throw in the elections, it's up in the air. But so I think in the last few weeks we've been talking a lot about scanning, right? And
yeah, we have.
At least it's been coming up. So I was doing some research yesterday on a shit, I even forget what it was. Some article about capture. Anyway, so I was I don't know how I forgot this, right? Because I've been focusing on other things. every single OEM art has a scanning solution, don't they? I mean, it's just.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then Rico, who did they buy? They bought someone.
For document management, they bought DocuWare.
Well, yeah. I mean, I roll DocMan and workflow and scanning all in one thing, right? Because you can't do well, I guess you could, but document management is hard. So anyway, I mean, I was all over the place. Yeah.
Well, document management is more hardcore, right? That's for.
Well, yeah. I mean, scan the file is as simple as it gets.
Right. Scan
that's
file.
not. That's like, I guess you could call that management.
I mean, you could even do a poor man's document management by just using Dropbox. Because in Dropbox, once you get the files in there, you can actually edit the files and give them metadata within that PDF that you scanned. And then once you've got the metadata in the PDF, all you've got to do is search on Dropbox and you're going to find those documents.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's still an archival thing. It's not a work, in my opinion, right? It's not AP and AR and all that goofy purchase order processing and stuff like that.
Poor man's stock flow, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So but I was once again reminded because, I remember back in the days at Icon, everyone had a solution and it was, scanning. But I guess my point was, Art, and maybe to get some insight from you, it's very, what's the word? I mean, the heredity lines go all over the place, right? Fuji has one, but it's similar to this other one that's similar to the other one, but they're all the same. It's almost like our MPS, back in the DCA days. But I guess I have a question for you. Is that the way it is, Art, that multiple OEMs use the same scan software? Am I off?
Scan, you mean not document management systems?
Yeah, let's just talk front end.
Front end.
I got another question too. Answer that one. But I got a good one. Go ahead.
So, of course, I sell Rico products. I know Rico uses a cloud service called RSI, right? So
right.
I know that each manufacturer has their own version of RSI. I do not know if they were all from one company, or I don't know if that's something that the manufacturers develop, or that's something that they buy and relabel.
Right, as
a third party service.
I'm glad you brought that up because that was the crux of what I was looking at. In terms, you stopped recording. Anyway, that's right. So I was looking at this in the context of a new sales rep, right? And I'll run this by you, okay? If I'm a new guy, do I have to learn multiple scan solutions? Kyocera, Canon, Rico.
So that would depend on your manufacturer, and that would depend on your dealer, right?
Well, I assume that most dealers are at least 2 or 3 lines, and then again, that's an assumption. That isn't always.
That might even be harder once you're 2 to 3 lines, because then you're going to have a different front end for
each one, right?
Each one, right? So some companies will do it. You remember John, right?
Oh yeah, yes, that's right. Yes.
Okay, all right. So even though I know a lot about the front end of, let's call them a front end of the scanning, right? So which allows you to scan to Google Drive, or scan to cloud services, scan to SharePoint, or whether you would like to try and do some workflows, automate workflows with the cloud, and some funky guy with glasses with AI actually creates all the magic happen, right?
That's my point. Keep going. Yes.
Yeah. So when you have guys like John on staff, your reps don't need to know it. All the reps need to know is, my client asked me if we could scan to SharePoint.
Okay.
Or my client asked me if we can automate something in Google Drive. Or my client has this, they manually are spending time with Excel spreadsheets.
Okay, perfect.
Creating other data sets, right? Is there a way we can automate any of that? So that John, for dealerships that have somebody like John, he can then take over. So to answer your question, no, this, as long as a dealership or a manufacturer, and most manufacturers have people in John's type position, they can contact your digital solutions guy, and then he can walk you through that process or start a demonstration or offer options for the client to fix their pain, because most of these things are pain, or most of these are what if scenarios. What if I did this? Could we save some time?
You bring up a really good point. So you just mentioned Google Cloud, Box, Dropbox, all those things, and then even spreadsheets. All right, so you're swimming in the SMB, which is where we should be, right?
Absolutely.
So because and I do this. I look at things as a big picture. Oh, dude, we can do this, we can do that, we can do that, and by the time I get done thinking, it's like, all right, well, this is a Fortune 500 solution. These guys are not Fortune 500, so. But the world is like you just exactly said. Could you give me an example of, say, someone who does stuff on spreadsheets, which is perfect, but wants to automate? What does that look like? And what have you seen when someone says a spreadsheet? I need to do this with a spreadsheet. Can the scanning thing help me?
So if we have John on the line, he could.
Right. Okay.
Basically,
Well, I don't want you to solve the problem. I'm just curious as to what problems are out there.
So it's been a while, but I've had some people that want to take data from that Excel spreadsheet.
So
move it into a workflow. Move it into, I don't know. John would be a better guy to answer that. But we have had people request that from time to time. It doesn't happen that often, and mostly probably a lot because a lot of us don't remember to ask about it often in the process. Are you, are you currently, doing a lot of work in Excel, and are you finding that you're thinking, is there a better way that I can get my data from Excel, right? Or I can morph it into one of our manual workflows. Maybe they're taking that data and they're taking the columns and they're taking the spreadsheet. It's an all manual process. And then they've got to enter it maybe into their CRM, or they've got to enter it into their business line of software. So when it comes down to that, that's if that's their issue, that's something that can be automated with a lot of these front ends from the different types of manufacturers.
Right. And I guess that kind of leads me into the next area of discussion is, okay, you've outlined that pretty well, right? So, I mean, if I'm a new rep, how deep do I have to get into it? It sounds like the same old stuff that we've been talking about people with salespeople, just ask questions.
Just ask questions. If you're a new rep,
ask questions.
You really don't need to get into it. So let's drop back. And, we've got new sales reps, and I think we've spoken about this before.
Right.
And they don't need to know the copy or print process anymore. They don't need to know how that works.
They don't need the 7 steps of the xerographic process.
No, not anymore.
What was it? The 8 steps of the copy press from OSE.
Yeah, could have been.
Yeah.
Right. They don't need to know about developer. They don't need to know about blades. They don't need to know about
users and stuff like that. Latent images. Oh my god.
How it used to bounce the lens would take the image and bounce it off 2 mirrors. Latent image on the drone, right? Or how they remove the mirrors and the lens, and now they use fiber technology, and they take the fiber technology and use a laser beam and write it right to the drone. They don't need to know that it uses, copiers are all based on static technology, static electricity.
Right, static pressure and heat,
Positive, negative. They don't need to know that anymore. And that's the same when it comes to workflows, cloud services. Now, if you're the type of company that does not have that digital person on board,
all right,
you're pretty much screwed. Or
you are. You're pretty much just selling.
Learn it by yourself. And then when you do learn it by yourself, then you say, okay, oh God, if I sell this, who's going to train them?
Right. Who's going to support it? Who's going to design it?
Most of them are canned right now. But for the more like we were talking about, the more
I guess it should say, all right, who's going to show them how to do that with their spreadsheet,
well, correct.
right? I mean, that's going to be the salesperson if there's no one else around. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Do you think that there? And I don't know, but I don't even know if you would know. Do you think that is prevalent nowadays? That most people have some sort of SME to call on?
It's
Hmm.
I mean, I recently sold something to a McDonald's franchise. They got like 4 McDonald's,
Mm-hmm.
and they're going to be, they want to take all their documents that they're scanning, APAR, HR stuff, and get it into Google Docs.
Just get it into Google Docs.
Just get it into Google Docs. That's the first process. And we're hoping once they get the first process done, then there's going to be more. Hey, I'm going to be like Wes,
Okay.
more processes.
Oh, more processes.
That may lead into additional workflows or additional revenue.
Right.
But it's, to me, it's all got to start with something simple, because sometimes, if you go, I've been working with a client for 3 falls. He's been interested in document management. He's a pool company. So this is the best time of year.
A pool company?
Pool company. Service and support. They got a lot of technicians out there. They do a lot of reports, a lot of service tickets.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
But it's been an on and off for 3 years. So I just contacted him recently and said, okay, I know this is your time of the year when you like to investigate this stuff, because by the time we get to February or March, you're already thinking about
season's kicking in.
Kicking in, and if you're going to get it, you want to do this during that November, December, January timeframe, and you probably want to look at it at this time frame right now. So
classic sales.
Sometimes it's easier to get the clients involved with that simple cloud process, going to a cloud repository. And then once they've got it going to the cloud repository, is to say, okay, now that you're doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can move into a different area.
Are you having any pain? Is it working okay for you? Could you tell me a little bit more about your process? And then, is there anything else you'd like to do with your data once it's there? And then once the data is there, if you've got the invoices there, right? You've got, what do they call it? Bill of ladings.
Okay, bill of materials. No, the shippers. You got the invoices, the shippers, orders, the POs. You've got
all of that. What's your process to pay those bills? Is that still a manual process? Does it go through Jane? Jane calls the order department. Jane
gets the approval.
Invoice. Blah, 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 Jane then goes to the owner. And then I asked the question the other day, just to figure it out. I go, you've got all these invoices. Are you meeting? Are you taking advantages of your clients that offer you early pay discounts? Are you taking advantage of that?
Yeah.
And they said, gee, I didn't even know if we were getting early pay discounts.
All right, let me stop you right there. Are you saying you just asked that question of a prospect and a client just not that long ago? Not probably, 10 years ago?
No, probably a week and a half ago.
So that means there are plenty of businesses that are in the same boat, I'm guessing, right? This is not an isolated event, right, Art?
Yeah, I think there's a tremendous amount that are in the same boat.
That's the AR leverage point. It's like bring X percent in from 120 to 30. If you can do that, that's money. That is money.
Oh no, absolutely.
I guess I'm kind of dumb. I thought that issue had gone away. I thought everyone was doing it.
No, absolutely not, especially with that in the SMB. And I guess it's almost depending upon the size of the SMB too. If you're in an SMB and you're doing maybe, 40, hey.
Yeah, but
I was working on a deal 2 years ago for $250,000 for document management, and it's still out there.
How
And
big was the company?
that's
What
in a
was,
large company,
okay, I
very
was going to
large.
$250,000, then there should be 10x revenue or something. I would assume. No, it can't be 10% of revenue is going to be, it's got to be
Yeah, I'm not
15,
sure.
20. Okay. All right.
Anyway, what killed it is that they had to, before they did that, they had to do their whole complete upgrade their business line of software,
Yeah, well, yeah.
which took precedence over the document management portion of it, even though they've got a covenant that says you've got to secure all of your documents.
Oh, are they a government or something like that? They have a mandate or regulation of some sort?
Just a corporate philosophy.
Oh, that's corporate mandate. Okay.
Corporate philosophy. But apparently the corporate mandate is kind of wishy-washy.
Well, I mean, this is really, I'm glad to hear you're saying this. So, because we're always looking for something new and different, and it's not that new. It's always been around, but the demand is still out there. There's still a need for that kind of stuff. And the way the industry, the way the demand curves are going, the way the industry's going, the way everything, the economy's going, these small little, and I don't mean this is why I shouldn't say these things. These particular niches have that need still. And what's cool about it is the solution set has gone down in price and in complication, right? I mean, gee whiz, wasn't that, well, maybe it was a long time ago, where a solution like this would have been, 6 months of develop time, of quote unquote develop time, was just putting the pieces together of a bunch of SMEs to help someone be able to, scan documents in and then pull them up at any given time from any other office. It used to take a lot of time and a lot of money to do that. But it wasn't that long ago at all. All right.
It's still viable out there, but a lot of salespeople, and I'll agree that I get into it too.
Are you kidding me?
Where hey, the copier upgrade is going to come easy. Why do I want to slow it down now with getting into some type of solution? My best idea, I think, is to have an aftermarket person that goes after those customers once they have the new hardware installed, and says, okay, now that you've got the new hardware installed, would you be interested in doing a lunch and learn or having a demo on some of our cloud services and how they could help your business?
That's the same old story. Yep. I know. But that's responsive to your customer as well, because a lot of them, most people in that range don't want to bite off a huge project.
Right.
Not only is it money, and actually the money issue isn't the big issue. It's the time. It's the headache of, what?
And everybody is trying to do more with less. I see that in every single company.
Yeah, it's not a trend, it's a characteristic. It's been that way since the 80s. And well, there were times when people didn't give a shit and they were buying copiers left and right. But now everything is optimized. Everything is, can we do that? Do we have to, there's an ROI on almost every move. And that just makes everybody do it, not just the big companies.
Yeah.
So the smaller companies. That's very interesting. So yeah, I was doing some research on I won't say entry level, but on, just the ubiquity of these scanning solutions on the OEM side. And it's really refreshing actually to hear you say that. That's just the other week you were talking about someone about bringing in AR from one, whatever to whatever. And boy, that represents, you take the discounts, but it represents a lot more than just that. It's cash flow. Because again, when you get into the SMB, it's cash flow is king.
Right.
That's another thing. It's like,
how about if your business is growing, right?
Then there's that, yeah.
Then there's more invoices, there's more AR, there's more AP, there's more HR. Do you really want to go out and hire another full-time person for, I don't know, 40, 50, pay their benefits, right?
That's the decision process. That is the process. Like, okay, I got this guy over here who tells me he can solve all my problems. It's going to cost 110 grand, or it's only going to cost 20 grand for the software.
Right.
And but when I, as a decision maker, it's going to take 6 months at least. Boom, boom, boom. Or I can just hire someone. And yeah, I'll pay the insurance, I'll pay the healthcare, I'll do this, but I'll let them do it. They might be a 50 grand or 60 grand a year all in employee, but I'll let them do it. And they'll have the experience, they'll be in the organization. I won't buy from outside. That kind of decision process. So as a salesperson, you've got to overcome that mentality. And
Yes.
so all right, so that was the scanning side of my research. But what there's really, and I'm glad I didn't even think about this until just now, well, a few minutes ago. Listen, there are, and I don't know if we've talked about it, but there are lots of companies out there, bigger ones, not your SMBs, that are removing salespeople for this AI thing. Now, that's a broad statement, but hear me out. They're not salespeople like you and me. They're B2B, we're B2B outside sales reps, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's different. They're talking about SDRs, and they've defined SDRs like we would call them inside sales.
Right.
What we really call them are order takers, because that's right. I mean,
well, order takers should be replaced.
okay.
Period.
Well, Art, in the last 10 years, there have been more order takers in the world than B2B guys, persons, people, right? So now that all these, and we've redefined order taker to be salespeople.
Yeah, well,
okay.
You mean inside sales?
Yes, Art, that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
Now, to be fair, I've seen these guys operate, and they can do a 15-minute demo and sell a $30,000 whatever over the phone with a 15-minute remote. So there is a proven model there. All right. But it's transactional. I don't care what anyone says. If you can do it, 15 minutes is a transaction. It is not a relationship. It's a 15-minute relationship. So you're not, marketing did a lot more for that particular SDR than sales and selling. Okay, fine. That's great. Now that might be 80% of the market. Well, those guys are being replaced right now by AI. And no, they're not. Yeah, they are. Thousands, not just hundreds, thousands of these SDRs. And you can see it in the tech layoffs and everything like that. This is not a cycle. This is secular. They're never coming back. So my point, but I've been reading now is like, they're going after, it's going to be B2B. They're going to get the professional salespeople because there's a whole chunk of us that are like 80%, right? That, I think we might have talked 90% of the B2B outside sales reps aren't hitting quota. Or I might fact check me on that, but it's a huge amount of outside sales reps, your typical professional seller, who aren't hitting quota. Now that could be the quotas are too high, whatever. Doesn't matter. When it comes to a numbers game, you throw AI at that 60%, they're gone. So do I want to incorporate an AI system that may have a close rate of 70%, but my costs are like 10% of what a sales rep is? Yeah, right. I'll do that. I'll keep my top 3% of B2B salespeople to really hammer it for now. Right. But 97% of you guys are going to go away. And this used to be, people would laugh at it just 18 months ago. Well, now I'm starting to see where these agents, which just this week got released, these agents the agent AI can think and articulate ideas. They can handle service desk incoming calls from customers.
Right.
This isn't, is your printer working? Yes or no? No. Did you try and unplug it? It's not something like, it's not a decision tree. These are, tell me what's going on. That's the voice. Well, I think my bank account has been hacked. Okay, let's look at it. But like a real person is on the other end.
Right. But that's not a sales person.
No. But if you can have an AI handle help desk and service desk,
I think help and service desk I can see. However, when it does come to sales, I think that AI. Oh God, I mean that AI has to.
What does it have to do, Art? Seriously,
it has to know everything about your business. Absolutely everything, from offerings to training to.
When you say it has to know everything about what they're selling, right? Is that what you're saying?
About what they sell and what they support, yeah.
Okay. Right, you're right. Now
about what's new, about what's coming on the horizon.
I agree.
As a customer, wouldn't you hate it if your rep, who was AI, uh, sold you on this new
Widget.
device that would, yeah, widget. And then you find out 3 weeks later that a better even widget came out, and you can't get rid of your existing widget.
You're absolutely right. I would say though that's the easy part. That's what I would say. But the hard part is going to be the
Well,
actual interface.
Well, that would be the hard part. Yeah, having it,
Well,
having AI just. I mean, again, I am no part of an AI enthusiast.
but
I
that's no, but that your point. That's why we want to hear from you. I want to hear from people who don't know what AI is, because this. So it's like someone coming in and taking the sales job away. Period. Right? Some super duper dude who knows everything.
I think it would almost take it would take a hell of a lot more shit away from the company as well. The first thing I would ask myself is, okay, so I've got this AI running. It knows God everything about my business.
Okay.
I can get on my phone and I can say, give me the the financials for the last 5 days.
Okay.
Tell me what's going to coming out new from our manufacturers. Tell me what are the pros and cons between me staying with my current inventory or getting new inventory.
Okay.
Tell me, based on my previous 6 month sales, how fast I can turn over the equipment that I have in stock, right?
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, so AI knows everything about your business. It knows who works there, how much money they make, how much you take in, how much you pay out, what your profit. It knows everything.
Everything.
Tomorrow you get hacked. Your AI gets hacked.
Well, you can get hacked tomorrow on anything.
I understand,
seriously.
but it's not going to steal your. It's not going to steal your. Come on, help me. Your
Expertise, your blood,
no,
it's going to
not
steal your money.
Your
Intuition, no.
your business secrets, your business everything.
Oh, okay.
So ransomware can say we're going to lock you out and you got to pay us $1 million, but it's not going to get your business secrets. It's not going to get into your clients or items like that.
I agree.
Right?
All right.
It's not going to get into your bank account. But if somebody steals the whole AI, and can they steal the whole AI? I don't know. Well, you shake your head no, but
there's two things.
Until the first time it happens.
Right. Anything can be stolen, and it's not the AI's fault. It's usually the person. But here's the other thing, the other side of the coin. It's like, who cares? What are your secrets? Are the Chinese going to use your secrets to take over DC?
No, but McDonald's has secrets. Coca-Cola has secrets.
They're going to be gone. This transparency thing is happening too. This is a whole nother chapter of what you're opening up. But the secret formula to Coca-Cola, irrelevant.
KFC chicken?
What irrelevant, right? I mean, what is KFC going to do to gain the market in Taiwan? Okay, still irrelevant. It doesn't matter if McDonald's knows what Burger King's going to do. It doesn't matter. That's another thing. It's like this.
How would you say? How would they get their trade secrets?
There are no more secrets. Well, there are no more secrets.
Once it's in AI.
Well, you can moat and put all your AI behind a wall. You can still do that, but still, there's going to be a dude who's going to grab a file and take it from KFC over to Church's. There's no way around it.
Or how about a dude or a gal that just comes in and plugs their thumb drive into your computer system?
The bigger thing is, yeah, they've got it, but so what? So what? That's the big next question. What?
They could drain your secrets. They could sell your corporate secrets.
To who? If you don't think your secrets are valuable, why would anyone else? To
McDonald's.
That's what we're getting.
I could sell my chicken to somebody else. I could sell my burger.
Because it's not about the KFC recipe. It's about the customer experience. It doesn't matter. We're not there yet. But all these security things, I mean, stealing money is different than what we're talking about, right? If your AI is stolen and someone is going to drain your corporate bank accounts, that's totally different. That's not what I'm talking about. But if someone stole my financial state or KFC's financial statements for the last 5 years, yeah, that might impact the stock price, which, okay, all right, that's bad. We've got laws against that. But this is what's happening. It's like, well, so what? So
Don't we
what?
don't we have laws against ransomware?
Yeah, but it doesn't
Companies are
matter.
getting away with it, and people
Yeah,
and
it's illegal
people
to
are getting
pay.
paid.
It's illegal to pay ransomware. A lot of people don't know that. It's a federal law. You can't pay ransomware. Well, everyone's paying them.
Well,
What are you going to
yeah,
do? What are you going to do?
but is there a law against hacking,
Yeah, there's a law.
controlling
That's
somebody's
stealing.
files?
Yeah, well,
Well, if you lock them
well, no, there isn't.
if you
That
lock them
is.
out of their
Yes.
computer, is
Yes.
there a law for that?
Yes. There's
Okay.
plenty of laws for stuff like that.
All right.
It doesn't.
But they
it
get
doesn't-
away with it.
They get away with it. There's no way to stop that. I shouldn't say that. Once it happens, you're screwed. And now we're really delving into the cybersecurity and all that crap.
Well,
Bunch of bullshit. It is the people that accidentally click on that stupid recipe email. All right.
yeah.
It's not, your cyber law, it's not cyber law, that's for sure. The laws are not preventing people from doing it.
Yeah.
They're in Malaysia or China or Russia. And, the big thing is they just want to keep it a secret is how much money is actually being given or shifted because of that. It's huge amounts. Regardless. All right. So all the way back to
Yeah.
the AI replacing salespeople. I'm going to run that forever, but I know that's not going to replace all salespeople. And here's the even uglier thing: it's going to replace the ones that are at 40%, 30%, 50%, 60%. Right? It's the same thing with creatives in Hollywood. Right? It's not going to replace the George Lucas, the Spielbergs, the top crust,
Right.
the best film camera, whatever.
Right.
It's going to replace.
It'll replace mediocrity.
Yes, that's the word. Yeah, but what it does by doing that is it raises the bar for expertise. It really does.
Right.
Because expertise is anchored by mediocrity. If you get rid of the mediocrity, it takes off. And I'm already seeing that in this. So I follow the art world because those guys are nuts.
My world.
I follow your world, Art. And there's a lot of scuttlebutt going on that they don't want AI in Hollywood, or they don't want AI to write books or make commercials. Well, that's the hype and that's the bullshit. The real movers go, yeah, we're grabbing onto this AI and we're going to make it even better. Right. And so
we had something similar 3 days ago, right? When the longshoremen went on strike.
Oh,
and one of their biggest peeves was, we don't want automation, even though the rest of the world and in Shanghai, they're using automation to get that crap off the ship and on the ship. But here, we don't want any part of automation. Well, I'm sorry, dude. It's here, it's coming, and you're not going to stop it. Period. I mean,
I'm so glad you brought that up.
Somebody's going to open up a terminal in maybe Elizabeth, New Jersey, or Newark, and they're going to automate the entire process, and they're not even going to need the union.
No unions, no people. It's halfway there right now. If you look, I know you should have brought this up earlier. You're right there where the docks are.
Yep.
Half of those transporters down there are automated already. Not the cranes yet. But when they take the cranes and put them on these little whatever the flatbed things that move around, they're all automated. They move from whatever. It's crazy.
If you've ever seen a video of Shanghai, you'd be amazed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's all automated, pretty much.
It looks like about 80 to 85%.
Well, actually bringing that up is a brilliant illustration of AI impacting everything from because crane operators, right? Who would have ever thought you could have a machine? Because that looks complicated to me. I think of Tom Cruise in that movie War of the Worlds, where he's a crane operator. He's grabbing those big old freaking containers and dropping them on. That looks complicated to me. It looks hard.
Does it? I don't think it's more complicated than a video game.
Right. So at first it looked, and then as you think about it, it's like, well, it really isn't, is it? It isn't. It isn't that complicated. A computer can do that, can't? Yeah, it can.
Yeah.
So my view on the shoremen and everything, yeah, go on strike, get everything you can right now, because you've got maybe 4 or 5 years before it's gone. So get it all right now. Just
Yeah, that's what they're
do it.
doing. What they just settled for. What they settled for is 60% pay increase, but they're going to relook at this at January 15th, which brings me back to
Let's bring us
why
back.
did they go on strike for 3 days and then settle?
Well, oh, okay.
3 days.
I'm gonna I'm gonna give you one influence. It isn't all the influences.
No,
But
November 4th.
could have been, yes, that's a big one. I think there was something to do with the dude with the beard who was just out there saying we're going against the rich people, and he had a, did you see his watch?
Yeah.
$40,000 watch.
Yeah, yeah. He has a $700,000 thing in North Jersey, or it might even be
The huge mansion.
more
Did you
than
see
that.
that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that hit the socials like a lead brick.
Right.
And people are going, what the hell is he talking about? It's like, and it really didn't. This is not 1974. You can't. Jimmy Hoffa,
I originally I heard they were asking for a 67% raise, then it came out to 75% raise over 5 years.
yeah. What's in the press right now and what actually hits, we're not going to know. Not until it actually does. Because they tabled the AI or the automation thing. They got their hourly increase, which wasn't 60% initially. Maybe it is over 5 years. I don't know, because it just happened. I didn't, there's no.
I think there was some pressure from DC to do something
Well,
before we get to the polls.
uh,
That's my
that's well, the damage. Boy, talk about the polls. I mean, the damage is done. I think we'll talk politics. I think it's done. I think it's done because the hurricane thing, and the fact, I don't know who's in charge over there that actually released the numbers and came out and said, well, we may not have enough money to, even if it's not true. Why would you say that?
Well,
It's like,
he said it. He said it.
I know. It's like,
and then basically all that money was earmarked for, I hate to say this, but the illegals, to pay for them. There was something where somebody left a receipt from a food cart or something like that. Tell me about it. Where they had charged, I don't know the amount, 500 and some odd dollars, but there was a balance of $15,000.
$15,000
left on the food card. I know. I don't know. The world needs to wake up a little bit and figure out.
He's a big shot.
What the hell's going on?
So A, it's a fact. B, it's like, well, why would you say that? And C, do you think everyone is that stupid that you would actually say if FEMA doesn't have enough money? You don't think anyone's going to say, well, didn't we just give Ukraine 1.8 billion? Didn't we just
8 billion?
Whatever. It's like, don't you think someone's going to say, hey, wait a minute on this?
But we can't take care of the people in our own country.
In the mountains.
We can't end poverty in our own country. You probably gave what? I don't know the exact number.
Dude, they did the numbers.
$20 billion over the past couple of years.
Yeah. No, they did someone did the numbers. If you took that money, whatever, and it wasn't 20 billion, it was a lot less, and threw it at the homeless in California, it'd be solved. It's like 1% of what we've given away everywhere else. And then now this thing with the hurricane got me. Remember the fires in Hawaii?
Yes.
That whole city's gone? It's still gone. They haven't done anything. The Palestine, Ohio railroad thing, remember that?
Yeah.
It's still effed up. Flint is still jacked up. It's still jacked up with the water. Yeah, I mean, there's a whole bunch of bullshit there. New York City was jacked, and that whole administration is going to jail. That's a whole nother bag of bones and shit. And then Helena or whatever it was, it's like, you're kidding me. Really? Yeah. We're not talking but we are. This impacts everything. Shit, could you imagine how many copiers are on the ships out in the harbor? I don't know. Do they come in through that side?
Most of them come in through the west coast. Although when the COVID hit, Some of them had changed their ports of address to like
Sure.
Baltimore and New York and
How about the
Newark.
toner
Um,
supplies and stuff? I don't know.
so
I don't.
most of that's probably going to come in from since it's the Far East in Shanghai. It's probably going to come into the LA ports, of Long Beach and LA,
Mm.
and then
Yeah.
get shipped across the country.
Speaking. So do we get a lot of our stuff still from China on
Oh yeah.
that side, the parts and stuff?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. We should have a talk next week because next week we should have talk more about Caton and
I would, yeah.
more
That,
about their machines and more about what some people are thinking and saying about their business model.
let's do. Oh, what do you know about their business model?
Well, I've heard certain things from different people, and we tend to agree.
Well, write that down because I would love to explore that.
Right, right. So next week we will talk about Caton, their business model, and why I think it will resonate with many small to mid-market dealers.
Okay, I'd love to hear it.
And it may be you may see it push out one manufacturer completely out of A3.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Correct.
Ooh, that's a good teaser.
Could be the biggest name out there.
Shut up.
Well, when you think about it and you think about everything that's going on and why they did it.
I don't know. You followed it more than me. That's great.
That's saturated already.
Right. That's where I'm coming from. It's like,
and
who
in
the
a
hell?
market that's declining, what are they bringing? There's got to be the company's not dumb to bring a dumb solution to the market. They're not going to invest millions in bringing something dumb out there.
Well, okay.
So we're going to talk about that next week, everybody.
Let's do that next week. All right. Well, good discussion. I didn't think we'd have that much to talk about, but no, we do.
We went quickly, right? It went pretty quickly.
That was great, Art. Thank you. All right. Well,
Everyone,
then next week, Caton.
Next week we'll be here. We'll be back 4:00 every Friday. Please remember to contact Greg or myself, and if you'd like to be a guest on the show, we'd love to have you. Our
Absolutely.
company, our show is all about ask us anything. You know, Greg and I, we push it back and forth. He asks me questions, I ask him questions, but we really like to hear from our listeners, other people in the industry. We'd love to ask you questions, and I'm sure you'd love to ask us questions because two old dudes can probably have some pretty excellent ideas out there. But anyway, have a great weekend. Right. Please like, follow, and hit us up next week.
Take it easy. We'll talk next week. All right.
Oh,
Bye-bye.
Bye.